Bach recently told the New York Post that she struggles to believe that Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar did not know about the fraud. Omar sponsored the legislation that was exploited to make the scam possible.
This is just a made-up lie because you do not investigate someone for 10 years and not come up with anything.
So then why?
Bill, Minnesota Democratic Congresswoman Ilhan Omar has been referred to the U.S. House Ethics Committee to look into the matter of her personal finances.
Good afternoon, beautiful people, and happy Friday. If you've been following the fraud investigations coming out of Minnesota over the last several years, you've probably noticed one name that keeps popping up in the headlines and reports: Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. Now, just so we are clear, an investigation is not a conviction, and allegations aren't concrete proof. But I think if the vice president publicly says the Department of Justice is looking into a sitting member of Congress, I think there might be something there. And now Ilhan Omar is finally responding. She said, "Bring on the indictments." Welcome to Nellie Miranda.
Bill, Minnesota Democratic Congresswoman Ilhan Omar has been referred to the U.S. House Ethics Committee to look into the matter of her personal finances. We've talked about this before. Financial disclosures show that the estate of the Minnesota Congresswoman jumped from almost nothing to $30 million while in office.
As always, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. Okay, so this week, Vice President J.D. Vance said that the Department of Justice is investigating Omar while raising questions involving immigration fraud allegations and family finances. During remarks to reporters, Vance stated that it certainly seems like something fishy, while emphasizing that everyone deserves equal justice under the law and that investigators would determine whether any crime occurred. Take a listen.
Do you anticipate an indictment against her, an indictment related to that situation?
Yeah, so Reagan, I don't want to prejudge an investigation. I mean, you read the things about Ilhan Omar and about, who she married and whether she didn't marry this person or that person. It certainly seems like something fishy is there, but everybody's entitled to equal justice under the laws. So we're going to investigate it. We're going to take a look at it. If we think that there's a crime, we're going to prosecute that crime. And that's something the Department of Justice is looking at right now.
This is obviously not the first time that questions have been raised about Omar's immigration history. For years and years, critics have pointed to allegations that she married her brother to grant him citizenship. Ilhan Omar has repeatedly denied those allegations, and no criminal charges have been filed against her related to those claims. Ilhan Omar went so far as to say that people are only accusing her of marriage fraud because she's a Muslim and they're racist. Take a listen.
This is just a made-up lie because you do not investigate someone for 10 years and not come up with anything.
So then why do you think it's still being talked about?
Because these people are disgusting. They believe in weird, creepy things, and that's why they want to believe in this weird.
And
that's all I will say.
No, definitely. Why do you think, I guess, that you're being targeted then? It's
because
like
they're racist, they're xenophobic. I just happen to be Muslim, and I don't think you're allowed to continue from there. But,
okay. Understood.
Yeah, I mean, they're just disgusting, bigoted people, and that's all I gotta say.
All right,
Ilhan Omar blames everything on Islamophobia or racism. However, have you ever took a moment to check on your Medicare plan? If you are 65 and up and are on Medicare, come close. You're probably A, overpaying for your current Medicare plan, or B, you're on a plan that isn't the best fit for your needs and don't even know it. There's different plans, different coverage, different costs, and most people assume that once you pick a plan, that's the end of it, and therefore they never go back to review their options. And that is why I partnered with Chapter. Chapter connects you with licensed Medicare advisors who compare every plan available nationwide, not just one insurance company. Their job is to help you understand your options based on your doctors, prescriptions, and budget. The call is completely free. There's no pressure to sign up, and it takes less than 20 minutes of your day. So again, if you are 65 and up and on Medicare, or you're helping a parent navigate it, please dial 646-817-8160 for complete Medicare guidance. That is 646-817-8160, or go to askchapter.org/Nellie. Now back to the story. Aside from her immigration issues, Ilhan Omar may have known all about Minnesota's largest fraud scandal in the state history. Federal prosecutors described the Feeding Our Future scandal as one of the largest COVID-era fraud schemes in the nation, involving hundreds of millions of taxpayer dollars intended to feed hungry children during the pandemic. Multiple individuals have already been convicted or charged in connection with the scheme.
Until she was arrested in 2022, Bach led Feeding Our Future. The now infamous nonprofit signed up restaurants and caterers, many from Minnesota's large Somali community, to receive taxpayer money for providing meals to children in need.
During COVID, for obvious reasons, parents were allowed to come and pick up meals. So we suddenly were able to reach more children.
But prosecutors said it turned into something else, the nation's largest COVID-era fraud, with Bach as its mastermind. Are you the mastermind of this scheme?
Absolutely not. I believe in accountability. If I had done this, I would have pled guilty.
More recently, convicted Feeding Our Future founder Amy Bach claimed in a jailhouse interview that Ilhan Omar knew about aspects of the fraud operation. Omar strongly rejects those accusations.
The convicted mastermind behind the massive $250 million Feeding Our Future fraud scheme. She's expected to learn her fate tomorrow. Prosecutors are pushing for up to 50 years behind bars for Amy Bach. Now, in a jailhouse interview with the New York Post, Bach says that she struggles to believe Ilhan Omar didn't know what was happening. And the Congresswoman responded, "Any claim that I had knowledge of this scheme is flat out false," said Omar. As I stated from the beginning, stealing millions of dollars under the guise of feeding hungry children to bankroll lavish lifestyles and extravagant expenses is reprehensible. I'm grateful that Amy Bach and every individual involved in this abhorrent scheme are being held accountable.
Ilhan Omar is saying that any claim that she had knowledge of the scheme is flat out false. She also pointed out that the Meals Act was signed into law by President Trump and passed with bipartisan support.
Ilhan Omar is at the center of the Feeding Our Future scandal. She not only was the sponsor of the bill that created the fund that they ripped off, these are her neighbors. These are the people she represents. And by the way, the people that she was in communication with.
She also argues that the regulatory framework allowing the program's operation was established during the Trump administration and that she sought accountability once the fraud became public. So in other words, she is saying she supported legislation intended to feed children during a national emergency, but she had no knowledge of the fraud. That is her position.
And for Ilhan to say she doesn't know about this fraud is like the biggest lie we've heard in American history. She knew about the fraud. And today they actually just criminally charged one of the ladies for the Feeding Our whose daycare was used for the Feeding Our Future fraud. And I exposed her daycare in my video that went viral, and that person's now been charged. And that was the same daycare that was used to run Feeding Our Future.
Okay. And you say, Nick, and you've done the investigation, you've done the research, and you say, of course, Omar knew. What's the evidence, and how does this eventually come home to roost for Ilhan Omar?
Well, if you just think about where all this fraud taking place, it's literally not even a 10-mile radius where most of this fraud took place. It's within like a 2-mile radius. And this is all around where her congressional district. And so for her to say that she didn't know about this fraud is such a lie.
Ilhan Omar is a liar indeed. No way she had multiple events at the Safari restaurant. The owner was charged in the Feeding Our Future scandal for stealing over $12 million. So you're telling me that she sat at that restaurant and thought, wow, they're feeding tens of thousands of children per day. That's nonsense. And if you know anything about East African communities, whether it be Ethiopian, Somalian, or Eritrean, they run tight-knit communities. If someone knows of an opportunity to make basically easy money, they will get as much people involved as possible because they would like to see their community prosper. Listen, I personally believe that Ilhan Omar was paid a lump sum to look the other way and pretend that she didn't know about it. How else could her wealth be explained? Although she redacted those wealthy claims.
Defense team says that she should get credit for handing over documents that helped convict her co-conspirators. They're hoping for about 3 years in jail. Before she was convicted, Amy Bach told Fox News that state officials like Governor Tim Walz and Attorney General Keith Ellison probably knew what was going on the whole time.
I have to believe that the governor's office and Keith Ellison's office were aware of this. They've said they were involved in helping the FBI. They've said they were made aware, but apparently I'm scary, so they couldn't do anything. I don't know. I have to believe they were aware. And again, if they weren't, shame on them for having a system that their lower level staff don't bring something of this level to their attention.
Now, Bach has also implicated Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, whose name appeared in emails and texts during her trial. Bach tells the New York Post that she, quote, struggles to believe that Omar didn't know what was happening in her district. She told Fox something similar. Watch.
I don't know what she knew. I don't know. I know that I was duped by a number of people. Ilhan Omar visited those sites. Why didn't the FBI?
Ilhan Omar is playing the innocent card, all the while dodging every single opportunity to testify. The refusal to answer questions almost always create more questions. Transparency usually helps to alleviate any doubts. So her refusal gives the appearance that she has something to hide. But just to circle back, we know that J.D. Vance publicly stated that the DOJ is investigating Omar. We know that Ilhan Omar denies any wrongdoing. We know allegations involving immigration issues, fraud, and financial questions have circulated for years. But what we don't know is whether investigators have enough evidence supporting any criminal investigation. And to Omar's point, they've been investigating her for 10 years and have apparently come up dry.
This is just a made-up lie because you do not investigate someone for 10 years and not come up with anything. If they want to indict me, let's see what they've got.
So what are your thoughts? Do you believe that the DOJ investigation will uncover something significant? And should members of Congress be required to fully cooperate whenever their names appear in major fraud investigations? Let me know in the comments, and if you got any value from today's video, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe to support the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss any future updates. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.